Welcome guys, Jay from RiceBrite. Now I've recently been covering content on the RG552 as I'm pretty hopeful with this handheld being made by Anbernic, who has made perhaps some of the best emulated handhelds in the market. Now I'm really hoping that this update can really support this handheld for current owners as well as bringing new ones. So I've done an out of the box experience and covered the official update provided by Anbernic themselves. If you have watched that video, you will know I wasn't that happy with the update and many people. It was usable, but people expected more, especially with that original price. Now I did pick this up at a furthermore recent affordable cost, which you will find a link in the description box below. Now, not hearing anything from Anbernic themselves about any further updates, which is to be expected really, as this is how the Chinese market goes about these handhelds, which they just keep pumping them out. So that official silent drop of the Android 11 update that did come out a couple of months ago was a very nice surprise. Or with guys like Black Seraph, the highly appreciated guy within the emulation handheld world, has created his very own unofficial update to address these issues as the Anbernic are failing to attend to, and also provide continuous update and listening to people's feedback. Got to appreciate the modern community out there, that is just way beyond me. Let's find out together if he has brought this original fallen handheld and raised it up to finally become a decent competitor within the market these days. But yeah, there's a catch with this one, it's not for free. That originally did throw me off by doing this, as the Retro Pocket 2, which I've covered a fair bit of content on in the past, the custom firmware upgrades were for free thanks to the modern community. When you look how much work he has put in with this, and if he is working with any others, that is a lot to cover. By coming from the official update, here is the sum of what the Black Seraph version provide. Well, it keeps what was upgraded from the official update, like the fan control speed, the overscreen controller function, the overclocking and dual boot, but now we are getting Google Play Store built in, and is compatible with the 5GHz and Bluetooth USB dongle. More info on that later. And you can use both SD card slot with this firmware, for further storage compatibility as well, like exFAT and X4 with micro SDs. You get upgraded GPU drivers and further overclocking settings. Well, let's quickly run on how to get this up and running on your device. First, you'll have to get yourself a Patreon account if you don't have one anyway, and subscribe to his page that works around about £3. Then access his posts and downloads you have to purchase for a monthly subscribing cost. The world we live in today. This worked out about £6 a month, so remember this will automatically renew at the beginning of every month unless you manually cancel it. You will find the latest version of his download for this Android post, and there's around about 5 files to download. Get them and put them all in one folder. Not necessary, but a little bit tidy like. Now to simply unzip that updated ISO image, preferably somewhere where there's space on your computer. Man, I need to sort out my storage. His prior releases did come out with a SD card toolmaker program, which is the same type of process as that as official update. But that program just did not work for me, so I tried another SD card toolmaker called Berliner something like that anyway. The link for this program is in the description box below, and this one worked out perfect for me. Simply give that program an install not sure on its Mac compatibility. Then when that is up and running, first select the flash from file, track down your updated ISO image that you downloaded, then pop in your SD card into your computer, select that drive and then click flash. That took around about 15 to 20 minutes. The speed does vary depending on the speed reads of your SD card. It does ask you to verify at the end of the transfer, but it's not necessary. Safely remove the SD drive from your PC and pop it into the TF1 drive in the device, and make sure it's the only SD card slot in there, otherwise it won't install properly, and it's best to put in the USB power to make sure it does not die halfway through, otherwise you're going to have some big problems. The uptake process did take about 20 minutes to install, and it does prompt you then after that to remove the SD card slot to proceed. If you have already though installed an Android 11 update from Black Seraph, at this point just keep the SD card slot in there and hold down the power button, and it will then boot into an installation menu. Press the power button to select Reboot System Now, which will then reboot your RG552 without wiping your data. So that is great news for further updates provided for the Android 11 version. No need to do a fresh install and start all over again. Now by installing from scratch, when removing that SD card, it will then reboot and continue to install, which took around about 10 to 15 minutes. And then you hit an installation menu, very straightforward, just like if you were setting up a brand new phone. Lots of languages to choose from, which is nice, but I'm seen to be stuck with American English here. Set up your Wi-Fi. I'm just going to skip this bit because I don't want to flash my password. It does ask you then if you'd like to copy any setup from a previous account. This could be handy if you do have any previous dedicated handheld emulation devices with its own profile, and you can just bring that setup over to this device. So now you can just sign up or sign in, and personally I just like to turn off all these features. I do find these features are just a bit pointless, especially for these type of device. You can then set up a password if you like to do so, and then we're finally in, and you're appreciated, Mr. Black Seraph. As you can see, it does look a bit different to that of the official update, and very bare bones. It does not include any apps like the OG at all, so hopefully you do have some of your backed up necessary files to transfer back over. Oh, and here is the Play Store up and running. That's better. Now we're back at square one. So after a decent amount of time, I managed to get things more or less the way I like this device to be. Now that we have sorted out how to install this, let's get into some good testing. With the Wi-Fi Bluetooth dongle USB combo, which can be picked up in the link below, connects with a micro C to USB, which is also needed, though it does stick out like a sore thumb. With an OTG adapter for a TV setup, it is pretty fine. It simply plugs into the OTG adapter on the top and very quickly picks it up, boosting the 2.5 Hz frequencies to 5 GHz, making download speeds boost up from a capped 72 MB to 200 MB. Here is a quick compare on the speed differences using speed test. As you can see, the download speed is basically doubled, but the upload speed has been quite steady. Just for an example, the PS5 and PS4 Remote Play app is not compatible to download direct from the Play Store app. The unofficial one is though called PS Play. I found this to work pretty great, to be honest, and it definitely is playable and very stable for the amount of time that I used it. Hooking up an Xbox One controller via the Bluetooth is quite weird, but using a PS5 controller is pretty good, as well as the latency does depend on the internet speed as well. To hook up a controller is very simple through the Bluetooth settings by just adding a device. For example, the Xbox One controller, you have to press the Xbox button and press the sync and share, hold them together, and then that sends a signal to connect. It's the same with the PS5 controller. Hold down the PS button and hold down the share button, then you see the lights flashing. That means it is ready to connect to a Bluetooth signal. I first experienced some minor input latency as I first had to reset it, and I didn't experience any latency at all. Anyway, that wasn't really affecting gameplay. This update also fixed some controller issues that I was experiencing with some of these Android games. With Space Master 2, the Aztec now is all good, and Dead Cells games can now pick up my controller pretty fine, but I did have to open the game and then close it. The next time I opened it, it then picked up the controller just fine. A little bit weird. Controller compatibility for compatible Android games has definitely improved than the previous update. I still haven't noticed any directional input problems that was mentioned in Wolf's Den's video. Using the DRM check app, you can test now if the Wi-Fi support is good for all these video streaming apps. You'll find now the HDCP is now unprotected, making it now compatible with video streaming apps. You won't be able to find these apps though from the Play Store as they're not compatible with the Android version, but you can download the APKs. You'll find this type of problem with other Android devices, and this was the same type of problem, making it incompatible with things like Disney Plus and Netflix with official updates. Now this is all good, making this device even more tasty, and it's compatible with HD streaming. Well, after getting all this up and running, I can say that this has definitely improved the quality of the handheld thanks to Black Seraph. Though if only you can install this combo Bluetooth and Wi-Fi internally, that would be awesome. It's beyond me, but that would be cool. And there are some minor things though I do like to see improved. It's only my opinion. When you do power this up, it does still kick in a bit of the fan noise, which seems a bit unnecessary. When you do plug in the USB, there's no seem to be any on-screen battery percentage indication, and if it's completely dead and you plug in the USB, it does automatically just power it up. when perhaps you just want to charge it. Plugging in the video output cable still seems to alter the screen ratio on the screen and also on the TV just ever so slightly. I'm not really sure if this is a good thing at the moment. I still need to look into this. A video output settings app would be great, so then you can turn off the main screen on the device to save on the battery. And when I use the Dig front end, it still seems to have the bottom screen navigation just seem to be popping up time to time. I'm not sure if this is a OS problem or even an app problem at the moment. The fan control speed is definitely better than the official update, but it still seems to be a little bit sporadic time to time, kicking in with low end emulation. Well, that is just my input at the moment on this update. I still like to hear from you lot in the comments box below. This is definitely a huge improvement from the official Android 11, and continuous support thanks to Black Seraph is good news. Well, this is definitely still a roller coaster ride with this handheld, and I do hope now that you guys have got a better understanding. And as always, if you like this video, hit that button. If you want to support, click subscribe, leave a comments below, and I catch you lot on my next video.